Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I'm going to wait a minute, see if anyone joins me since it is Saturday. Maybe it's laundry day for everyone like it is for me. Hey, Rachel. What's up, girl? I was going to listen to your voice clip and I was like, nah, I got to get this in. Hey, Danielle. I'm going to come get that beautiful Groot plant today. I'm so excited. All right, I'm going to get started. So this is the altar spread for the collective today. And how cool that the tree showed up in 2 different decks. I love that shit. And so the tree vessel showed up for the sacred geometry. And so if you look at the beautiful sacred geometry of this is about the downward and upward pointing triangles being married into this beautiful spiral. And so what that actually talks about is being receptive. And showing up in the reverse, though, like it did today, it's actually talking about what do you need? And so when it's in the upright, it teaches us to be receptive. That's the stillness of surrender. And I just had a really good conversation on my thread on my Facebook business page about the word surrender. And so this is obviously someone raised in a military home. And he said he was taught that surrender is about like letting your guard down, like throwing in the towel. And he was taught that the proper word is submission, that submission actually gives you some element of control. But really both. Submission is more about being controlled, right? And so there's a whole power play going on. And it's when you are submissive, that's saying, okay, I allow you to design my course. Okay, but this is more of like humanness, submissive. When we are engaged and in full communion with self or spirit, there's no submission. It's more surrender. It's like laying back on the current of a river and allowing that to move you. That's surrender. Surrender is not about relinquishing anything. It's not weakness. It's falling back into something that you already planned. It's saying, okay, I realize because all of this has been designed that I release control, because any little element of trying to control actually creates resistance to the flow. So you become the dam in the river instead of floating on the current. That's the difference. And so I love these conversations. And if anybody wants to have these conversations on the live, ask me a question right now. And I'll be watching, because I do actually have my glasses on. I don't always wear my glasses when I'm doing this. But the tree showing up in reverse actually talks about there's a block, and the block is ego, and the block is programming, and it's also it's on the tip of my tongue. When people don't believe something, like that people like me exist. What is that word? Anyway, it's obviously not important, but it's the disbelief. It's the skepticism. There we go. Good job, Sherry. High five. Hercules. Anyhow, it's the skepticism. So the ego creates, there you go, skeptical. It's the ego that creates skepticism. It's the ego that says this doesn't exist. And so the ego creates the block to be receptive. Because receptive is saying, I planned this. I can release control because I would never do something, or spirit would never do something to completely annihilate me. And that's the whole idea about the sweat lodge that came up the other day when I talked about that quote that I love so very much. We must face annihilation again and again to find that which is indestructible. We are indestructible. Not our earth suit, definitely not the ego. The ego needs to be destroyed. But the whole idea of surrender is that, okay, this is an intricate plan and it's been designed before I was even birthed. I can let go and really let go. Like really let go. Let go of the programming, let go of any bit of bracing. Because that's what happens. And when you start to surrender, you brace yourself because it feels like, ooh, this feels like weakness. Or like when you become really still, you have this mindset that you have to be active to be earning your worth. And that is not true. And those things actually create a wedge in surrender. When you are fully in surrender, it is this deep, deep stillness of sinking down into that primordial self. So you can say, I receive everything that I planned for me, give it up. I take it, I receive it, and I know that I am so deserving and so worthy. Yes, Kenny, it's the ultimate. Because when we are able, if you are able to let go of the bracing and the ideas and the ego and the skepticism around your ability to receive and the safeness around receiving, that is when you actually embody your most powerful self. And I know that is the paradox. That's why in our humanness, so many can't do it because they can't fucking let go. And so that's the message of the tree vessel in reverse. And so the tree of life showed up in the other deck. And this is awesome because it has a slightly different message, even though it's still using the tree as a message. So because trees are stationary, right, they have no other choice but to be still. But the tree of life talks about the wisdom of the tree because it has this intricate root system that they communicate, and it reaches down into that deep, dark underworld. But as wide and high as the branches grow, that is as deep and wide as the root system is. And so the strongest trees are the ones that have that really deep and wide root system, because even through the strongest of windstorms or hurricanes or cyclones or even the tsunamis, they survive. You see, there's trees that survive. It's wild. And that was very deadly for a lot of people. Not the buildings. The buildings were broken apart. Like, it was wild to watch videos of that. But you see these palm trees surviving, but people getting thrashed against these palm trees and vehicles and just smashing, and these palm trees like anchored deep into Gaia, like, I will not be moved. And so think of the powerful lesson of that. So that is the upright lesson of the tree of life. Yes, willingness and trust, but we have to feel very safe. Thank you, Kenny. And so the tree of life in reverse says, be aware of what you need. How can you deepen your roots and widen the root system so that your branches can grow higher and wider as well? So what type of nourishment do you need to help your system become that ironclad, like even in a tsunami, you are steadfast and powerful and you will not be moved? And I love that message. And so people tend to get all willy-nilly and nervous when they see cards and decks that actually have meaning of in the reverse. They're like, oh, this is gonna be bad. No, fuck, I love it. Whenever a card shows up in the reverse, it means that's the medicine of the card. Every card has a message, right? It's like, okay, this is an affirmation. But when you get the medicine of the card, that's the deeper spiritual lessons that you get. I love that shit. Like, yeah, give me a card in the reverse. And so both of these tree cards showed up in the reverse. That's amazing. And so tourmaline, this is hilarious because this deck actually has 74 cards. And I saw this card come out and I was like, come on, for real, I have 2 new pieces of fire agate, y'all. I want to share them. And so this one came up, and this has come up so much. And so I stuck it back in the deck, which, the universe will smack my ass down for that. But I put it back in the deck and reshuffled, and it came up again. And I just laughed. I was like, all right, whatever. We gonna see what we gonna see. I'll share it. So tourmaline showed up. This is the inner piece. Okay, so the green and the pink tourmaline. See the beautiful ramada that's built there. The gazebo of crystal. That's amazing, right? Wouldn't you want to have a gazebo crystal? It's like badass. But anyhow, tourmaline talks about not time traveling, staying uber present, and that's the only place that you can achieve full peace. What, Patty? You have a watermelon tourmaline palm stone? I need to see a picture of that, so text it to me, please, because I have never seen even regular tourmaline palm stone. So I'm like, wow. Yes, it is meant to be, Kenny. Thank you for validating that. So this is pink tourmaline. I have a couple pieces because these are like really beautiful gem status pink tourmaline. So they were expensive. So that's why I only have 3 little pieces, because like I can actually get crazy. Isn't that one pretty? And so you could see the actual striations that grow in this stone. They're so pretty. And this is watermelon tourmaline. So watermelon tourmaline has the green, right? Like a watermelon rind, and then it turns light green and then pink. So pretty. So it has both the green and the pink. And this little chunk was expensive too. I can't even imagine how much tourmaline palm stone was. But this one, I love. This is watermelon tourmaline in matrix, which means it's in the stone that it grew in. And so you can see, and I like this side because the pink tourmaline looks like a heart. And you know I'm all about love. And so, staying present. How do we stay present? Because the now is the only thing that's real. And so you anchor yourself in the present moment by engaging first all of the physical senses. How does it look? How does it sound? How does it smell? If you're eating, how does it taste? And how does it feel? The tactile feel of it. And then you can go that last step. How does it feel? How do I feel? Like the emotion of where you're at right now. And when you take a deep breath, and remember the deep breath starts beneath the navel because the lobes of the lungs are huge. They go from the shoulders down into the waist. And when you take that deep breath, it is like a light switch for the parasympathetic nervous system, and it anchors you in the now. And it triggers the parasympathetic nervous system so the body gets into a state of repair, but it also gives you a shot of oxytocin, serotonin. Those are our feel-good chemicals. So it's like a chill the fuck out shot that we get from within. And that's the inner peace, because the body becomes calm and softens. And the softer the physical body is, the more fully the soul can come into that space without resistance, right? So you can become that formidable tree, that wise, strong, grounded, rooted tree that will not be moved in a tsunami. And that's what the present, radical presence, unwavering presence can do for you. Like, it is transformative. And so abuela medicine showed up, the remedy of the grandmothers, and I love this. And so I don't know how many of you on here actually know that I came from medicine when I was still hiding, when I didn't want people to know who I really was. And I was in deep self-betrayal, hiding who I really am. And yes, it is perfect for your Gemini moon, Patty. But it's so important, the abuela medicine, to connect yourself to plants and Gaia and earth. This is ancient medicine. This is medicine of the mind, body, and spirit. It doesn't concentrate on just one, but there is no such thing as a physical ailment. Everything is based in spiritual disconnect. So if there's any disconnection to spirit, it creates discord in the mind and the body. So staying present is probably the most healing, not probably, it is the most healing thing that you can do. Like, I haven't even had a sore throat in more than 15 years. This is a powerful place to be. And so abuela medicine talks about communing with the earth that holds us, being present, rooting yourself, grounding yourself, and then communing with all of the elements that hold us, with water, fire, earth, and wind. And when you do that, you become a harmonious being here. So be that harmonious being. So that is a spread for today, and thank you all for hanging in there. I love you. And I am sorry for any discord that I have created as source. Please forgive me. Thank you.